Conversations with Yobusa. Oh my goodness, I love this show. Of course, if I don't love the show, I don't know who else will love it, right? So I love the show, and I hope that you guys, and I'm trusting that you guys enjoy the show. You take one or two things away from it. This is where I showcase fantastic Nigerians, fantastic Africans who are really doing impactful things, right? Impacting their communities, impacting the people around them, just leaving that impact, right? And that's what we're here for, right? At the end of the day, we all rise, right, by raising one another up. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about mentorship. I know some people are like, but you said, didn't you do mentorship last year? I did. But the truth of the matter is we can still do mentorship 20, 30, 100 more times, because there are various ways to slice and dice this mentorship thing, right? It is so important. So yes, you're right. Last year, I interviewed an MD, with one of the big four consulting firms, on mentorship. And he explained to us how he lives and breathes mentorship. Those were his words, stressing that mentorship is one of the key successes, to one's career. Today, we'll be exploring another dimension to mentorship. Meet Mr. Akinfenwa. He's a seasoned IT professional and the head of delivery in North America for one of the global consulting firms. We'll be having a conversation about his mission to help professionals, especially those of Nigerian and African origins, help pivot or transition into the IT field, particularly in cybersecurity and product development. We'll also be having a conversation about his mission to help expand their human capacity, to assist students in making that career shift, and encourage people to make bold moves that create an impact. Bold moves. We're here for this. As a mentor himself, of course, I cannot bring someone here who's not a mentor, because then what are we doing, right? He aims to guide individuals in achieving their ambitious goals and shorten that journey to that success. We're here for this. He has mentored, guys, are you ready? He has mentored over 2,000 professionals. When I heard that, I was like, yay, are you serious? 2,000 professionals. He's going to be talking to us about that, helping them pivot into the IT field. So without further ado, Mr. Akinfenwa, welcome to Conversations with Yobusa. I'm really glad to have you here.
I'm excited, Yobusa. This is a dream come true to have an opportunity to speak with people that have similar mindset, mission. It's just joy, really.
Okay, so it's funny, but wait, before we even delve into the show, you are looking correct. What is that? Is that like Bluey Dad shirt that you have?
Well, my son has, is 8, and this is the in thing now, Bluey. You guys can see it. So, kind of makes me to identify with Bluey everywhere. I was in he asked me to go around with Bluey to see and thought. I said, well, I want to take Bluey all across this because
right.
So
right. So you're saying, okay, to make you happy, I'm gonna wear this shirt, right?
I'll wear the shirt.
You're looking. I like the way you paired it up with a jacket and a butt seal. I don't know whether you know or they've told you. For anyone who comes correct or looking day for my shoe, there's a price to pay. It's not for free. Yeah, dancing. You don't even know what I want. I should bring it on. All right. So the price is you need to sing the chorus of one of your favorite either Afro beats, so one of the trending ones now, or Afro juju. And feel free to take us back to the 80s, 90s. Feel free. I'm here for it.
All I can say is one of my favorites, one of the most recent ones is, at least all of us can agree with this one. Last, everybody big fast. Let's put some Burna Boy in there. Yeah, we can do that.
We can do that, indeed. Oh my goodness, Burna. Let's not even talk about what our Afrobeat stars are doing. I mean, it is phenomenal. It is phenomenal, right? Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. So, really, you have mentored over 2,000 professionals. Talk to us about it.
To me, it's surreal. Sometimes I think myself that, is this true? Is this real? Is this something? But my story, my journey, I moved to the US about 21 years ago. Like most immigrants, came here for my master's. And once I was done with the program, I realized, there was a ceiling immediately because I did a program that was, a master program in geomatics and information system. Okay. And I realized a lot of people in my space were more tilted towards government. And at this time, I was not a US citizen. So it meant I needed to upskill in other areas, right? So I was, and I don't want to take credit for being a mentor. I was mentored by some brilliant, passionate, empathetic people also. So I have to acknowledge them, the likes of Oyenia in Arlington, Texas, Pastor Oyenia, amazing human being. Another person we call Lorioko. These are great human beings that genuinely want young professionals to uplift their self and their game. And so they kind of left that playbook for us. And, we picked it up immediately, myself and some other peers that are great mentors too. And, believe it or not, we started casually, just a little bit, training one person at a time. Over the years, you just realize it became a movement. It's not just what you do. At any point in time, my life for 15 years has always been, you're helping someone to grow, you're helping to develop their competency, their capacity as a leader, pushing them to go the extra mile. And 100 become 200, families become 100,
It's like a
400.
ripple effect, right? Yeah.
It's a ripple effect, really. So over time, and the mentorship, for me, it's a calling outside of the African community, even within my career path. I used to be one of the, I was in the Big Four, Ernst and Young, also built my career there, mentored a lot of professionals, trained a lot of professionals in the US, in Tel Aviv, in Germany. So it's not just the capacity within my circle of influence, but even beyond that. Because to me, it's a calling. It's just not, it's something I genuinely love to do. And I think it's on all of us as a community, especially to do it. I would also acknowledge the Indian community. I always give my Indian friends, colleagues, perhaps that,
Thumbs up, yeah.
but they've done something very good. Hate or like it. I mean, I would take the positive of great things I see. I love and
emulate it, right? Exactly, yeah.
yeah, if you see what works, I'm of the opinion, don't reinvent the wheel. Use an effective playbook. Now, what do? Simple. Let's keep it simple. Some of us in IT can identify with it. Even as far back as 20 years ago, I started my career with this community, so I know it so well.
Okay. Yeah.
People from all over the world, some people, they are technical colleges, equivalent of what we call polytechnic in Africa. And they come here, they train them in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, weekends. So you see them block their weekends, no social event, and they focus on healing and developing themselves. Now, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Over 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, guess what happens? The person that started on the down eventually becomes management leader. Now, two things happen when that happens. And I challenge everybody, it's not just you having the capacity for yourself. You have to think beyond you. It has to go beyond you. So for me, I see this community go beyond one person to become leadership in tech space. And those of us in tech would acknowledge this. Suddenly you realize, oh, wait a minute, all your VPs are now becoming Indian community, which is great. All your C-level executives, at some point, you're seeing them, they're now in leadership role.
Yep.
So now, guess what happens? They make two decisions. Number one, they can make a decision within their circle of influence to bring more people within their community. Give you credit. Just want a playbook similar to that. Second thing is that they have an opportunity to now outsource beyond the shores of North America because they are in leadership. Yes, is a better advocate of you as an African or a Caribbean, African American, than someone within your space and community to champion your cause. And that's what I've seen in the India community. Yeah, if I'm a CEO and I'm an Indian origin, then I would champion and say, hey, sure, let's outsource some of our jobs to India. If I'm saying I'm challenging,
do that. Yeah.
If suppose I'm in leadership role, yes. Our course is get to leadership and let's see how we can leverage continent and increase capacity over time also.
So is that, and this is a good segue to my next question. So is this why you're particularly interested in, and I hear you, right? You've mentored and you are mentoring people of different origins, but I know we had the offline conversation, right? You're particularly interested in mentoring like the Nigerian and African community. So is this why? I guess, right?
Absolutely. And there's no shame about that. It's something of joy. I think, for all of us, it's a calling. People within our circle of influence. I'm a proud African, from Nigeria origin, proud American, yes. But at the same time, I know my circle of influence and my people the people I did life with growing up. So
Yeah.
it's on me to see them listed, especially in diaspora. If
Yeah.
in diaspora, important, we all need to think beyond just,
Just me.
it's,
Also, yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's, let me tell you why. Why it's important. Let's be straight about it. It's important not because of you now. It's
Mm-hmm.
important for self-preservation. And I'll tell you what that means. It's important
Mm-hmm.
because for you to be relevant in the long term,
Mm-hmm.
you can't afford to just be the only one successful. It's
Yeah.
not sustainable. You're going to be a
Mm-hmm.
minority. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to be pushed out at some point. You're not
Mm-hmm.
going to be relevant at some point. It's on us. So do it for your selfish reason that it's
Mm-hmm.
important that I want you to be successful, to like you. I don't want to be your friend.
It's
In
not
fact, it's
exactly. We don't have to be buddies. We don't have to be chummy.
yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah. We don't have to, and I love Yobo's vision and vision really because we talked about this offline. We don't have to be buddies. As a matter of fact, don't call me. Don't be my friend. It's okay. But it's important we see to each other succeeding
Yeah.
and uplifting each other because for self, number one, for legacy,
Mm-hmm.
younger, you just wake up and realize, oh, I'm having some fancy.
Don't let me show you my own. Yeah, but
So you realize that, you know what? At this point, we need to think legacy. Think of the younger generation,
think
think
of
of
our
the
children.
children.
Our children, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to think beyond, and give or take, most of us put another 10 years, we are wrapping up life, right? I mean, nobody's going to live forever, but at the minimum, we need to think and say, we are leaving a legacy, helping the younger generation to be uplifted. I think for that selfish reason, it's important we uplift each other. So everybody is a mentor, and we should be very intentional about it.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to, and of course, we'll get into that in a bit. Sometimes it's an uncomfortable thing because a mentor will be very truthful and a bit straight with you on things. Let me pause for a second.
Okay. No. I mean, you got okay. I mean, it is. I hear you when you say that, and I'm particularly. I think I'm loving this new trend that I'm seeing now, right? Because you know how, I'm hoping it is a trend. I'm also team positive. I like to see the positive. I will see the positive in something first, right? Before anyone can say, oh, but what about that? Like, or really, anyway, push that aside. I prefer to go to, with the positive, like you said, what's working, let's emulate it. And when you talk about like self-preservation and all that, you already mentioned it. The Indians are doing it. They've been doing it, right? They've been doing it for like years. The Jews, don't even let's talk about the Jews. Don't let's talk about the Asians. Do you understand? So it's like, why can't we Africans do it? Why can't we Nigerians do it? So and the reason why I say I think I'm seeing a positive trend now is that I think there's more. Hopefully I'm not wearing rose-colored or rose-tinted glasses, but I think there's more collaboration now within the right. Am I right or no? I think there's more collaboration now. That mentality of, oh, I have something good, but I'm not going to share with you because I don't want you to now come and cannibalize my. I think that's hopefully shifting away. What are your thoughts?
And I share the same sentiment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very hopeful. I'm very optimistic. I think the younger generation are more. We're talking about the Afrobeat and the younger
Mm-hmm.
generation, where they come together a lot to kind of put the African flag or Nigerian flag
Right.
in a top global platform,
Okay.
right? Same thing for we professionals. I've seen a lot of collaboration. I know we have a lot of things to do to get better there in that space. I've seen a lot of collaboration. One challenge I would throw to everybody is it's important to understand also, think long term. Very important. The younger generation, especially, yes, it's the platform is now built ready for you.
Mm.
You can't afford to take it for granted.
Mm.
A lot of you don't understand that, okay, you know what, 20 years ago, the model was you have to spend a lot of money to go to a master program. You have
Mm.
to invest in yourself. The growth path is just a little bit more painful, long, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can come in
Mm-hmm.
within 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
get a mentor, and
Skill.
suddenly,
Yeah.
in 6 months, you're making 6 digits. Never take it for granted. In the US, in North America, to make 6 digits, people spend 25 years of their
In
career.
corporates. Yes.
I've seen, as a mentor, I've seen a subtle sense of entitlement and taking things for granted.
Mhm.
That's and I understand it's not because it's a different dispensation, and I get that part of it. But at the same time, just be very more thoughtful and think about it and say, don't
Okay.
take it for granted. I'm not against it. And one thing I'll challenge our community also is, the African American. Listen, the competition is never your other Africans.
Not us. It's
Your
not. It's not you. Not me. Yeah.
Yeah, we are playing small. Come on, guys.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, you're playing small. Don't do that. The worst players I see is don't even play and say, "Oh, your competition is people in the continent." No, don't do that. That's
Oh,
silly.
I know. I hear that too. They're like,
Listen,
oh, my competition is the guys like in Nigeria or like in or in Ghana or and in my head I'm like,
no,
that's
no,
your competition.
no.
Ah,
Seriously. I mean, respectfully, I think you're playing small. You're just playing. You're so childish. So now you want to feel a sense of importance because you're converting dollars
yeah.
to.
No. Yeah.
You're
Look
just
at where
joking.
you are. Your own environment. Who is your competition
This,
here? Yeah.
this is your our Indian brothers, our Jewish brothers, our Chinese brothers, this is your competition.
Mm-hmm.
I challenge you, make your billions in dollars here
Mm-hmm.
relevant to us in Africa. Now, let's put it in perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, data don't lie. At the end of the day, you can do any BS with me or anyone. That's fine. But listen, data would not lie. Let's be straight about this. The GDP of Africa, to my knowledge, last year was about 2 point something trillion dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
The GDP of Africa, we're talking about over 50 something member states, right?
Countries.
50,
Yeah.
up
Mm-hmm.
2 point something trillion dollars, right? Let's put the numbers in perspective. China GDP is probably about 13 trillion, Japan about 7 trillion, the United States about over 20 trillion. The state of California is about 4 point something trillion. So one state in the US is, has double the GDP of the whole of 50 something member state in Africa. Now you can come and give me the data and say, well, I'm not looking at it in the right perspective, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into that argument right now. Okay? If you look at it subjectively, the reason the black race, in my opinion, most times is not respected, it's not because of the color, it's not because of anything. 90% in my opinion is economy, period. If economy is not a discriminator, if as a matter of fact, there's a data that says money is even more powerful than any religious figure. So I met you. I may not like you, but I want your money,
I want your
right?
money. Uh-huh.
Even during the time of Jim Crow in the US, when there was, segregation,
Yeah.
guess what? The slave master or the segregationists, they were collecting black dollars. So that's no discrimination. It's strictly about economy. If we are economically viable and strong, and we get our act together economically, then it changes the game because
We become a
really
force to reckon with.
there's no choice. It's not an option. So we must say, listen, man, especially for my own mission is mostly diaspora.
Yeah.
And I take it serious because listen, man, you have to understand your power as a diaspora. You are the most powerful force in humanity in the black race right now. We in diaspora that have the opportunity to be in a place that you can understand the nuances of many culture, how things are done, your perspective from where you're coming from, it changes the game. And when people say to me, why don't diasporas move to, the continent, Africa or anywhere in the world, right? My challenge is always, listen, folks, we're making a mistake. No, the question is not really moving. It's we ensuring the diasporas are well established that they can be relevant to us in the continent.
Yeah.
It's so important because that's the power. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Think about it for a second and say, okay, imagine we in diaspora today, a lot of us multimillionaires in dollars, we have business and organization, and we all think about this. Hopefully some of our government, please go ahead.
And I was going to say, and add to that, we start to be policy makers, right? We start to effect policies here
Bingo.
that would affect policies there on the continent. Yes.
That is amazing because that is going to change everything because what will happen is simple. Number one, the power of the pulse, right? For a second, think about this. if every diasporan, if some of our African leaders are listening to Yobosa, please do listen to her, subscribe
Please
to her.
listen, please.
Listen to her.
Yeah.
Imagine this. Three things I think immediately can make a ripple effect in any African nation. Let me take one. Number one is find a way, even if our leaders are not doing anything, which I hope they do, find a way to security to attract diasporans to come home once a year. That's first step.
Okay.
Make us come once a year. You know what that means? Means an average diaspora family of two, they'll come home and spend $10,000.
$10,000. Aha.
Number two, find a way, of course, create an enabling environment. Partner with some of the banks in North America, Europe, anywhere, Australia, where it is, for some of us to have a mortgage system back home. I know some people are doing it already, so that we can, as we pay our mortgage here, we pay also maybe $300, $400 that we are sending them towards a mortgage back home. Second revenue. Let me sneak it in. A lot of that diaspora wants to vote. They want a platform they can also be heard. Why don't you create a platform and say, okay, to vote as a diasporan, all right, why don't you just pay $100, $200 every year towards the infrastructure to happen? Be able to vote.
Yeah.
It's opportunity for revenue. And these are things that have been shared by some great luminaries. I give credit to some of my friends doing, a few folks have leveraged this great opportunities we have. So we as diaspora, like I said, I'm a proud Nigerian, proud African, but also this is home to me. I'm an American too, proud to be one. And I have more influence here but the key is partnership.
Yeah.
My life professionally, some years back, I used to work in Tel Aviv, Israel.
Okay.
And one thing I love about the environment there is that it's not an accident. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. The state of Israel, the GDP is close to $500 billion. From a population of about 8 million people.
They're small, yeah. It's not even, yeah.
In fact, there are more, to my knowledge, I stand to be corrected, there are more Jews in the U.S.
In the US than
the state of Israel.
But a lot of the Jews here, their number one thing that they have in their mind is support back home. And they do that, and they do that religiously, right? Partnerships. Yes.
That's the key. That's why I'm with you, Yobosada. Listen, it's not about you saying that's not to come home. No. That's a weak strategy, in my opinion. It's the collaboration. It's more of insist the diaspora be more established economically, politically, within where they have, because they are more relevant here than you. It's like there's a reason people have intelligence all over the world, right? There's a reason.
Yeah.
States, nations are doing that. So why would we do the reverse? It's have your diaspora. The only thing you challenge them is, listen, diaspora, to whom much is given, much is expected. Your brothers out there, the opportunities are there, leverage it and see how you can use that to partner with us.
Yes.
To be more successful.
Yes. No, you are so right. And I'm just as passionate as you. And it gives me so much pleasure when I'm speaking to people like that, because that is, I was speaking with I had a guest on my show. I haven't published it yet, but Miss Ndidi Oneli. She's real, she's real heavy on like food and agriculture in that whole space. And I was asking her, I was like, so does that mean, Harvard MBA and all that? So I was like, so does that mean, okay, us over here? But she goes, no, it's not that. It's like, you guys here, you can start to think about it. If some of you get into politics, government, and you're starting to effect policies, right? And the policies start to positively impact the continent. But it said that is how, just like you're saying, that is how no one is saying all the diasporans not going to move home. No, it's not like it can't even happen. That's not what we're saying. But there's a way we can collaborate here and start to lay the groundwork for the ripple effect that we felt on the planet. I mean, on the continent. And then while they who are there, they're also working hard. They're also trying. Do you understand? So you then get to a point where everyone is rising up. Everyone's rising up, irrespective of where you are.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
yes. Yeah. Yeah, no,
I
it's
love, and I always like to sneak this in also.
hmm
I had the privilege of working with the African Union on capacity building some years
hmm
back,
okay.
and myself and a partner of mine, we worked directly with Dr. Zuma then. She was the
Okay.
chairperson. And these are our words specifically. She said to me, she said, hey, folks, listen, we are not against Africans migrating out of choice. We're against migration out of desperation.
Mm.
So humanity has always migrated. We in the US, we do exchange programs to different places. It's been a part of humanity, right?
It's right.
The- Yeah, the challenge is just we're not gonna. It's out of desperation. Like, oh my God, this is just not we can't
Yeah.
survive.
Let me
You know,
japa, like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's the where the challenge is really right now. So
Okay. Yeah, no, it is. We're here for it. We're here for it, and slowly and surely we'll start to get there. And that's why I say I'm happy that the collaborations are occurring, the discussions are occurring, because that's important. We're talking about it now, right? Talking and then acting on it. It's not just talk, 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 and then you just want to sleep. But it's like, okay, what are we doing? What can we do? We're talking about it, making speeches about it. Being passionate about it, and people are, and it's coming through, right? So slowly but surely, yeah, we'll get there.
yeah,
So we maybe just one further question that I have for you, because we can talk about this for like 10 hours, and I will
yeah.
still continue to talk about it. But what in your mind is a key ingredient to having a successful mentoring relationship? So both from the viewpoint of the mentor as well as the mentee. Like for it to be successful, because we all know that there's some mentoring relationship that are just kind of like a waste of time. Just like, okay, I don't even know what is this. So for it to be successful, for each one to get what they want to get from it, right? What's a key ingredient?
Let me speak specifically from my experience within our community.
Okay.
Let me start with that. Basically, of course, let me just say the general terms, I think, then we get to our community. Based on my knowledge, the cultural awareness of our community, I would address that specifically. But
Okay.
generally, from mentorship perspective, I think number one, there should be that element of active listening and empathy. Meaning, I want to listen to you. I want you to feel you've been heard, empathize with you also, right? Just to kind of, okay, we are cool. I understand what you're dealing with, what your thought process is with an empathy, right? Second element will be the guidance and feedback. The guidance is just, okay, this is what I think you should do. These are my feedback as you progress in general, right? Then the third element is, okay, setting our goals, then the accountability side of it. Okay.
Mhm.
That would be like a generic comment on mentorship.
Okay.
Let's kill that out and just say, culturally speaking now, let me talk to our community.
Okay.
Number one, go with a mindset to a mentor relationship with zero angle. When I say zero angle, don't go with the angle you want to take or extract from your mentor. As a matter of fact, let me give you a secret. Go with the mindset of how can you also give to your mentor?
Hmm.
I know it sounds crazy. Yeah, you're thinking, okay, wait
It
a minute,
sounds
what can
it
I
sounds
give?
a little counterintuitive, because you're like, well, no, I
Yeah.
want to be mentored, right?
Yes,
So what can I give to this mentor? Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. You must think and say, wait a minute. Let me tell you why it's important you think of the giving also. Because your mentor is a human being, right? Your
hmm
giving does not giving cash to your mentor. They don't need your cash. You're not giving. But the point is that you're constantly thinking and seeking ways to also give back. It forces you to think a lot. It makes you vested in the relationship to say, wait a minute, let me give an example that might make sense to you.
Okay.
Your mentor believes so strongly in a vision of mentorship. Imagine you telling your mentor and letting your mentor know, you know what, for the last 3 weeks, you've been mentoring me, and I've also adopted someone I'm mentoring right now,
hmm
right? So automatically you've given back because that's the vision of your mentor. It's makes the relationship just, it changes the relationship from almost a mentor to borderline friendship, which is, I
Mm-hmm.
think, what you really in the long term desire. You're not friends, right? This is a mentor relationship. But at the same time, you're trying to see how you can really go the extra mile, find out what is important to the calling of the mentor, right? That would be service, especially, right? At the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. For one, I know it's counter, but I think it's a smart. And I'll give an example. I have a mentor that is, he has a big um, capital fund, equity firm,
Okay.
and one of the things he was surprised was I just told him, hey, he had some project he was working on, and I volunteered to start doing some of the grunt work.
Okay.
Zero, but he was kind of
Unsolicited, huh? Right. Yeah.
awesome. He
Mhm.
was kind of really impressed that okay, this guy was just
Okay.
offered to support a mission, a cause.
Right.
I put so much in.
Mm-hmm.
Even the mayor of a city, I have my city mayor is a good friend of mine. And you tell
Mm-hmm.
the mentor, hey, mentor, I noticed this is an initiative within my city right now, and I would like to volunteer to support this area.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what that does is that, yes, it's still within the framework of your mentorship, but you're
Yeah.
very proactive to
Mm-hmm.
focus on things that are relevant to. Now, let me quote President Obama. I listened to him a few weeks ago. He said one of the things he looks for in his team is people that, without solicitation, take initiatives on things.
So initiatives and proactiveness. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Proactive.
because you want to change the relationship from, you want it to be something that the person will be really vested. Because
Mm-hmm.
really, at the early stage of mentorship, it's more of the mentor is giving, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
you don't want a parasitic relationship. You prefer it to be biotic relationship. Because
Right.
think about it, straight about it. If it's a parasitic relationship over time, it will become almost, you can't be a priority if it's parasitic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
symbiotic becomes more, oh, okay, yeah, we can, because this person is,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes much more a relational thing. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
first thing I always say. And I say, like I say, within our community, let's make sure we do that. Number two is, I think we should be very intentional about it
Okay.
and be ready with a mindset to say, you know what, now for me as a mentor, because I'm mission driven, so I don't need any motivation for doing what I do. Zero
Okay.
motivation, to be honest.
Right. Right.
It's not like I need, I don't, it's not relevant. If you tell me thank
It's
you, it
just it's
doesn't
just
matter.
second nature to you. It's just you're like this is just
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I honestly don't need it really. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
give it to me, yeah, I'll be
Great.
like,
I'll
oh,
take
thank you.
it.
Thank you. So it doesn't matter to me if you,
Okay.
it doesn't
Okay.
matter. And mentally, I also know as a mentor, even people sometimes you mentor could be a little bit, um, they might not do their part, right?
Okay.
And where you as a mentee, the easiest way to break a mentor relationship is if you don't execute task given to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you make a mistake to think the person has forgotten. No, they don't forget. People don't forget stuff like
Mm-hmm.
many times you're respectful, but they're kind of just listening and trying to
Watching.
say, oh,
Yeah. Watch yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm.
okay, I asked you to do something. And one thing I would challenge our community also, this is one of the best quotes, one of my good buddies, Banks, he says it a lot and I love it. He will tell you that excuses devalues you. Let me take it again. Excuses devalues you. If you make an excuse the first time, okay, all right, maybe it's a one-off. You
Okay.
make it a second time, your value just drop. The third time, then yeah, and
Mm.
honestly, some
So
of us just
you just lose credibility. It's almost like okay,
we
what
lose
this person,
credibility.
Mr. Akinfenwa, thank you so much. Like I can't even add anything much to say to that. And I will wrap up by saying you said it all right. And I think I like that quote that you said, the fact that excuses devalues you. That is how we said, right? Excuses devalues you. So viewers, on this show, we've had so much fun with Mr. Akinfenwa on the topic of mentoring. and he shared so many nuggets. But my one key takeaway, or maybe three key takeaways is number one, this excuses devalues you, right? If you're given a task, either by your mentor or even at work or anything like that, right? Deliver. No excuses, no excuses, right? Excuses devalue you. This one's going to be one of the ones I'll have in my kitty. Number two is in a mentoring relationship, you also have to go there, even you as a mentee, go into it expecting to also give, right? So it's not just taking and taking and taking from the mentor, but find a way to give back. And like you said, it's not, oh, come on, give me your cash, or come on, no, that's not what it is. It's like I said, find a way. If you're pay attention, right? You're listening. If the mentor has mentioned something, or you see that there's a project coming up, volunteer for something, right? That's how you're giving of yourself, and you're showing that you appreciate the mentoring relationship, right? So, and number three is we have to leave a legacy, right? Leave that legacy, and to do that, we have to how did you say it again? We have to go over and beyond just as not ourselves, but as fair, right? As for lifting one another, because that's how we leave the legacy to our children and children's children. Okay, Mr. Akinfenwa, thank you so much for being on the show. I truly, really appreciate your time, and the nuggets you've given us is just invaluable. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Yobosi. My honor. Thank you.
And I'm going to have you back. Like, my goal is to have like a panel where I have like maybe 3-4 guest speakers. Let's talk about this mentorship. Let's just really shred it, and I hope you'll come back. Be glad to come back on the show.
Anytime. Thank you so much.
Okay. So viewers, there you have it. Tune into Conversations with Yobosa. This is where we get to talk. We really get to talk. We have fun, but we also talk. We also talk about, have these conversations about, how we as a people, we as a culture, the Black people, right? Doesn't matter where you're on the continent, you're here in the diaspora, but it's like, how do we lift one another up as we rise, and how do we start to affect policies, or affect change that we want to see, like on the continent? And it starts with people who are over there, but also, starts with us here, in the diaspora. So until the next time on my show, I say you stay safe and have a super spectacular. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, though. I don't know what to do again, but go and subscribe, okay? Like and share this link, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.